Good afternoon. First of all, I know we've had a lot of thank yous already, and so I'm going to kind of repeat some of those. I'd like to thank the OCCJ and Moises for inviting me to be a part of this event today. And I'm very honored and pleased and humbled by the invitation to come and speak with you this afternoon. I'm a big believer in the mission of OCCJ to eliminate racism and bigotry within the state, and it was an opportunity I definitely could not turn down. I'd also like to thank Dr. Payne for the intro and for the speakers that will be coming up here this afternoon and the bravery that it takes to share and disclose. So I thank you for sharing with us as we get to that part. And thank you for creating an intimate portrait of your experience to share with the rest of us. And most importantly, thank you, our advocates out there in the crowd today, for being here, taking the time to come and be a part of this and supporting us and supporting the mission and the effort. And without the team effort of everybody here, these types of efforts would not be possible. So thank you for being present today. And I'm so glad we have a timekeeper, because I'd hate to, when I get to speaking about something I'm very passionate about, I begin to speak from the heart and I lose track, and I can go everywhere, and I can turn a 5-minute speech into probably like a 2-hour one. So, so thank you for keeping time and letting me know. One thing that I'm super passionate about, again, is, like I said, the mission that we have here today. The biggest thing, I think, to help understand who I am is I'm a Christian and a firm believer in Jesus Christ. And I believe I serve and worship a God, a creator that loves all of his creation in all of its diversity as he created it. There's diversity in the flowers and in the weather and the seasons. There's diversity in every day and every second and every minute that we exist and survive. And there's diversity amongst his people. His most prized possession is you and I. There's diversity in the way that we look, the way that we think, the way that we believe, where we live and how we live. I believe in a creator that has purposed it that way. Even identical twins have their distinctions. And it is special, and it is unique, and I believe it was intentional. I myself want to start off with a quote that whenever I get to share and disclose what is I feel like my purpose, I like to start with this particular quote, and I'll explain a little more as I go on. And it comes from Sitting Bull. Sitting Bull made a speech, and he said, "God made me an Indian." And I think God made each and every one of you in the way he intended to make you. And I praise God for that. Today, as we know, and as Dr. Payne shared with us, there's a lot of rhetoric and conversation that's just very divisive in the media. It's just out there, it's closing in on us, I feel like, with the elections and news. The conversation is everywhere. And worst of all, unfortunately, it's in our educational institutions and in our schools. As I quoted Sitting Bull, I said, "I'm an Indian." To be more PC, I guess, I'm Native American, and I am Cherokee, as it says. I'm a citizen of the Cherokee Nation. But right now, as I kind of pointed out with our the shortcoming in our educational institutions and our schools is that approach to the Native people of the U.S. Right now, there's a justification out there that they're claiming there's an honor. These organizations or these representatives, that it's an honor to have a Native American mascot, either Indian or whatever derogatory. Basically, it's simply just derogatory. But the justification, like I said, is that it's an honor. We would name our team, our school, or just whatever, I would say, excuse to be able to not have to make that change and come to terms with what that is really about. I have a visual here. This was from about 2 years ago. I don't know if you remember or not, but there was a school. The team that they were playing, I believe, was the Indians. This is in Alabama. And the opposing school created a sign, get ready to leave in a Trail of Tears round 2. And this is just for a sporting event, but as Dr. Payne noted, the Trail of Tears was nothing of a joke of sorts. It was nothing to make light of for the sporting nature. But the students, this school, obviously did not know that or recognize that, or were very insensitive, maybe desensitized to this fact. There's one that's really common in the media, I'm sure we're all familiar with as of today, and that's the dispute over the Redskins usage. With that being said, like, how can I stand by and accept this labeling that is generally accompanied by the desensitized cheering and rants of such things as beat the Indians or beat the Redskins? When it comes to the competitive nature of sports, there's a dialogue that will take place, and when you have that native mascot, it begins a desensitization process, and our schools and our entertainment is allowing that. It is not an honor to be a mascot. But because of this, in our schools and with our sporting teams, we somewhat allow it as a socially acceptable way to demean and demoralize a people group. This divisive labeling is destructive and very dangerous. About a year ago, not quite a year ago, I wrote an article. I write for Native News Online. It's a special interest publication, and it focuses on Indigenous issues in North America, in the US and in Canada, with Native Americans and First Nations people. There's a campaign that you may be aware of, and it is called Women on the 20s, and the campaign was to remove Andrew Jackson from the $20 bill and to replace it with a historical, respectable female figure. One of the 4 candidates was Wilma Mankiller, the first female chief of the Cherokee Nation. A lot of the conversation was that it would somewhat be poetically just to specifically put Chief Mankiller, the late Chief Mankiller, in place of Jackson because of that relationship. That Jackson is notoriously known for the removal efforts that was historically one of America's worst ethnic cleansing just activities on our state that's foundational to our state, and especially here in Oklahoma. With that article, I within 48 hours, it had like 250,000 hits online, and I was very excited. It was an article that it was one of my biggest articles that I had written, and so I decided I'm going to go read some of these comments and just get some feedback. I don't know if I would ever advise anyone to do that after I did it, but I was actually quite surprised. I was really into the campaign and the effort. I thought we were progressive and moving forward. But as I read the comments, it was very, there was a lot of dissent. So not only taking Jackson off, but putting a woman and putting a Native woman. And there was a lot of pushback from other Native communities against having Wilma Mankiller on the 20. One comment jumps out to me that I remember the most. And it still kind of gets me with this belief. One comment I read said, "Yes, we need to take Jackson off the 20 because he didn't finish the job." This was less than 1 year ago. That man who made that comment less than 1 year ago, I don't believe he's like me and doesn't believe like me, doesn't look or act like me. And I'm sure we have nothing in common other than the fact that we are both imperfect and we are both flawed in our own ways. But still yet, I know of a Creator that still loves him in all of his diverse ways and beliefs just as much as he loves me in mine, and I respect that. I don't have to agree with everything, but I believe that man too is loved despite anything I could think. And I thank God for that. I believe life experiences have shown me that in order to appreciate a diverse world and to truly understand and love one another, we must first accept and respect our differences and not ignore them. It is in those differences we find love for truth and find the beauty in our diversity. Again, I thank the OCCJ and its mission here for Oklahoma, and I believe it is a mission that we can accomplish together. I love each and every one of you. You're very beautiful in your own way, and thank you for having me here today. Thank you, and God bless.